It gaff till a gaff. It gaff till a gaff. I'm illy with the till a gaff. Illy with the till a gaff. Knit gaff, knit gaff. Knit gaff, knit gaff. Hey everybody, welcome back. Did you miss me? Hey, this is the Grand and Go to Papa Lifestyle podcast. This is Freethinking. So this podcast is for free thinkers, self-improvement devotees, business people, hip-hop heads, general music lovers, martial arts enthusiasts, and generally cool motherfuckers. Today I'm going to talk about something which I think again is going to be a bit controversial, although I don't know why, because it's everywhere on the internet if you choose to look. But I want to put a spin on it. Something that came to my mind this morning. But that's something that's been growing in mind for a while. So anyway, today's topic is manhood. Basically, today's topic is on manhood and knowing and staying on your purpose. Let's see if I can get through this in 7 minutes, although I doubt it. Ring the bell. Okay, so the reason I don't think I'll do this in 7 minutes is because I really have to tell you a story. Before I go anywhere with this, I think I need to really tell you a story. And the story goes like this. I was introduced after about 15 years of marriage to the pickup community. To be in a PUA. Now, what's that about? Basically, the story goes like this. When I was going through a rough period in the property business. Sorry for the long thoughts. You know what it is when I'm trying to look at my phone and do this podcast. I'm trying to, that's why I don't do notes. Okay, let me just talk. So when I was going through kind of a rough period in the property business, I was really having trouble with sales, and I always try and improve myself as a salesman. So what I'd done is I'd linked up with this guy. I was introduced to this guy, and unbeknown to me, this guy was a complete and utter fucking crook, right? Like so many people on this coast. Complete and utter fucking crook, but he had an amazing magnetic way, with people closing sales. So I wanted to learn from him, yeah? So before I found out he was a complete and utter fucking crook, I said to him, I really want to improve my sales ability. What would you suggest? He said to me, read a book called The Game by Neil Strauss. So I went and got a copy of this book, Amazon. What this book basically is, it's the story of Neil Strauss, a journalist who gets introduced to the pickup community to become a PUA. Picking up meaning picking up women. And what he'd really basically said to me is, he said, look, read this book. It's about picking up women. I was like, yeah, great. I'm married, dude. That's not really a great thing for me to have. He goes, no. He said, at the end of the day, he said, there's psychology tricks that are used in this book to pick up women. Not only do half of them work on men, but as most salespeople know anyway, obviously depending on the vernacular of the relationship, but in many situations, sell the man. And in fact, this fact is going to factor into what I'm about to try and talk about today. Get the woman sold and you've got the man sold. Because, men understand that, happy wife, happy life, right? It's that concept. So get the woman sold and you've got the man sold. And as time has gone by, I've realized now, in retrospect, looking at, like the usual suspect, you drop the cup and you look at the board and you realize, oh shit, that's what I've been looking at all this time. I've seen so many agents flirt with, and sell to a woman, and the husband just goes along with it, and it's a skill to flirt with someone's wife right in front of them. There's a way to do it, but you get that woman on your side, man. I've seen people buy shit. I've seen agents fuck up. I've seen agents lose people. I had one, I'll never forget this. The agent fucked up and lost them their deposit of like 60 grand. And they came to me, I was doing a mortgage for them, and I was like, I don't really understand how this happened, but I don't want to badmouth nobody, but this shouldn't have happened. And they were like, oh yeah, but he's such a nice guy. This is the message. He's such a nice guy and we really trust him. So we're going to go back with him and let him help us buy another one. I'm like, you don't know the agent just made a good chunk of your fucking money at exchange that went to him. And you're going back to this guy who fucked that up and made you lose that money to buy another property. But this is what this guy was doing. He was running game on them. Just like a pickup artist. So the only thing that he left out was the actual clothes and fuck. Do you know what I mean? But he'd run game on them the complete time. So that's basically, the background of my introduction to the pickup community. And, it works. And it's kind of funny because I always think to myself, like, when someone comes up and says, hey, this is how people manipulate you. You'd always think, well, people should never do that because then everyone will know how they're being manipulated and then they'll be aware of it and it will stop. Well, I tell you what, dude, that's what my naivety, that was the thrust of about 10 to 15 years of my life, talking about, international politics and the politics of the 1% and exposing that information. And when everybody knew that information, it would affect the way they behave and it would change the way they behave and then it would change society. But just like that wasn't true, this isn't true. A great example the other day, I met a guy in a swimming pool. I know. But I met a guy swimming. I met this guy and we was talking. And wanted to pick up, because basically the pickup community, like the Mystery Method and those kind of guys, Tyler Durden, it's all about tricks, right? So literally these guys just, when you read The Game by Neil Strauss, they talk literally like having magic tricks to go to a club and impress girls and pick them up. But then, then it goes into more kinds of tricks and, all this kind of stuff of how to get women's attention and how to get women to like you and how to get women to bed. And it's really funny. One of them, they're not invented by these guys per se. A lot of them are just basic psychology and understanding the psychology of men, women, and that kind of thing. So one of the funny ones there I would like was mirroring. And you can tell someone about mirroring. And once you tell someone about mirroring, you'd think you could never use it again. But we all do it because it's a natural thing for us to do, which is to mirror people that we like. Yeah? That's why, for example, you see teenagers get into groups. And I don't mean like music groups. I mean like all of a sudden, like you go to teenage playground and you got the goths over there and the hip hop rap guys over there and the sorority girls over there and the jocks over there. And what you start to realize, they all start to dress the same. Why? Because they're mirroring each other. It's a human natural process, of human psychology. But then there's levels of it. So I caught this guy in the pool who was talking to me, stopped me when I was swimming, started having a conversation with me. I don't think he was hitting on me in particular, but what made me laugh is I adjusted my hat and I saw him adjust his hat. I laughed to myself like, motherfucker, are you mirroring me? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're here in the pool and you're talking to me, so you're obviously trying to build rapport and you're mirroring me. But I'm like, yeah, but I caught you, and he caught me catching him and he looked at me like we had this momentary stare where I literally said to him, my motherfucker, are you mirroring me? You know what I mean? So, it's kind of funny. So yeah, once you know it to an extent, you can be protected from it. But to be really honest with you, to a greater extent, you're not protected from it at all because it's so deeply based in human psychology. It's so deeply rooted in human psychology. It's basically rooted in our primitive brain, our reptile brain, our fight or flight brain. So the vast majority of the time, you are not going to catch somebody pulling these slick little tricks on you. And that's why guys earn hundreds of thousands, or at least thousands of euros selling pickup game. And that's the reason why it works. They sell it because it works, and it still works. Even women who've read the Neil Strauss book or his girlfriends or whatever, half the time they still will get caught slipping with somebody running game on them. So anyway, that's not really what this is about. That's a whole nother topic. I just wanted to basically say how I got introduced to this, and I straight up, and it works. My sales got better. Let's just be clear. Let's be clear now. I'll jump ahead and I'll say that, I do appreciate some people, and I did think this myself at the time, might think that it's very disingenuous to use psychology, to get what you want from people. And I'm absolutely sure it's true. The only problem is that we do it all day, every day anyway. It's like most things. We just do it badly because we're not aware of it. And what happens is the people who do it better, because they are aware of it and they've learned how to do it properly, they've trained themselves how to do it, they get the better results. You know what I mean? I remember saying many, many years ago, at the age of 21, I wrote something. I should write that. I wrote, I can't believe that it took me 29 years to learn how to breathe. Now, obviously, that's not correct, because if I hadn't breathed for the first 21 years, I'd be dead, right? We get that. But the point I was making at the time was I just got into yoga and meditation. And once I'd learned from some yoga meditation teachers how to pop belly breathe, and I was doing kung fu and different kinds of breaths for different purposes, I realized that the breath that I was using, the autopilot that my subconscious runs, to just keep me alive wasn't the best breath, and definitely wasn't the best breath for different circumstances. So it's like, well, yo, that's crazy. Why didn't someone teach me these different kinds of breaths and how to breathe when I was like a fucking child? You know, like they do in the foothills of the Himalayas or other parts of the world. It's like, for fuck's sake, what are we learning here? Do you know what I mean? Lego? Like, you fucking crazy. I don't know how to breathe. I never learned how to breathe to, you know, get out of panic attacks or to do strenuous exercise or to get myself in a meditative state. Or no one taught me that fucking shit. I learned it when I was around 21, 22. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's absolutely crazy. So, you know, the point I'm making is that we're doing this stuff anyway. We're just doing it badly. We're stumbling into it. And it was really funny because, you know, I've always been like, you know, considered as, you know, as a reasonably charming person. So it's funny for me, so much of this stuff, which I realized that I was kind of already doing, that I toggled together if I wanted to be nice to people or be liked by people, you know, not in a kind of, you know, manipulative, exploitative way, just because, you know, my background, my personal sob story, you know, leaves me as a people pleaser. So I wanted to be liked by people. So I toggled together like, you know, maybe like 20-30% of most of these tactics anyway, just without any fucking knowledge of what I was doing or how to do it properly. So that's getting that out of the way. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, so we're in the pickup community and we're using it for business. And, you know, it's working. I'm getting, you know, building better rapport. Basically, the whole point of it for business is you build better rapport with your customers, because you ain't going to sell nothing to nobody who don't like you. Every businessman knows that. You know, people buy people. And if someone hates your guts, you need one motherfucking hell of a deal, or you ain't selling shit. And you've all seen it a million times where you got the best deal, and then there's another guy competing with you with a shit deal, but they go for the guy with a shit deal because they had better rapport with him. So, you know, we were using the pickup techniques to build rapport. But the point I'm really trying to get to is, you know, I kind of kept in touch with that kind of information. It's very interesting, you know, and obviously, like anything, you know, updates. So, you know, the pickup techniques, it takes you, eventually will end up in NLP, you know, you end up in neuro linguistic programming, and, you know, it's just a basis for human behavior and human activity. That's really what it's about. You know, so you start to spiral off into different aspects of it, depending on what's most interesting to you. And now, you know, on my YouTube or whatever YouTube feed or wherever I get information from, I start to see something else emerging, which I think is great, and I think is very positive. What I'm starting to see now is that there's much less emphasis on tricks and tips. You know, the whole mystery method was, hey, when she does this, do this. When she does that, do this. Or go up in a club, walk up to a girl, say this, then do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, no matter what the fuck she says. And, you know, you're going to sleep with her by the end of the week. I mean, that's what the PUA community was really about, right? Or at least the side of it I saw. But now I'm seeing something emerging which is a lot deeper and a lot more profound. And it really is basically about developing who you are first. And in fact, to a great extent, a lot of these guys ain't really even doing tricks and tips. They kind of used to kind of put it in there a little bit, you know. I guess sometimes you got to put it in there because of what people want to see. You know, you got to give people a little bit of what they want. But you know what? There's a really great audio by a guy called David D'Angelo, where I really started to. That's the first one I personally came across quite a few years ago. You know, where he kind of went, "Yo, fuck this tricks and tips stuff, man. Let me tell you what this is really about. It's not about pretending to be an alpha male." And I've seen this again with I think it's the Bright Side who do something like this as well. Not the Bright Side, one of those, and another one of those where they do like lots of drawings on the you know, drawings, a YouTube channel where they do lots of drawings. So I'll try and put it in if I find the proper name. But my point is this. You know, they start to say, you know, fuck pretending to be an alpha male, which what tricks and tips are. This is how you look like an alpha male in this situation. This is how you look like an alpha male in that situation. You actually just have to learn how to be an alpha male. You actually just have to learn how to be a male. And that's really started to resonate with me now, you know, and it's kind of funny because something that seemed quite derisive and something that was very, without a doubt, manipulative. And, you know, I guess to a lot of people could have seemed very distasteful, though I think it's bullshit because, you know, the difference is women go away and learn their tricks and tips all day fucking long. I kind of respect that because, you know, as the physically in most instances weaker sex, they have to find a lot of ways to defend themselves from men, you know. They can't just straight up punch you in your face if they're not interested in it, you know. But they go away and they learn their tricks and tips all day long. So, it's been quite funny that men have not had the same level of tricks and tips. You know, women teach each other. I'm not a woman, right? So I don't know. I just know the result as being on the resulting end, that women learn shit tests from a young age. So as a man, you don't know you're being shit tested, but women shit test you. Do you know what I mean? So it's only right now that we learn that we're being shit tested. And this is really the point I'm getting to, which is that, you know, I was going to call this, be on purpose, which is a huge part of being a man. But it's really just on manhood. And it's really just understanding that, for lots of different reasons, the vast majority of male human beings are not being taught how to be men. Now, this is a hugely divisive topic, and it sounds like a lot of macho shit. And the funniest thing about this is my 20-year-old self would jump out of my own skin and say, "What the fuck are you on?" Do you know what I mean? But my almost 50-year-old self has had the experiences of the 20-year-old self's mindset, and just understood very clearly how misguided that for want of a better word, metrosexualism is. That whole concept of not actually learning to be a man and pursuing your manhood. It's just thoroughly misguided, and without a doubt, again, completely manipulated and promoted by the media. So basically what I'm trying to say is men are learning their concepts of manhood from the media. And what we're getting are really stark contrasts, but they're all caricatures and they're all fucked up and they're all wrong. So you got the uber gangster thug. I don't take no shit from nobody. I shout at people. I beat up people. I control my bitch, because I'm the man. And that's what, we're being presented on the one hand. We're being presented that's presented as negative, by the way, but yet presented so much. A huge proportion of the population are thinking, well, if I don't want to be that whiny little pussy in the corner, the one who this uber alpha, on steroids beats up or belittles or controls, then I have to be that guy. And then you got the other side of it, which, metrosexualism isn't probably the right term, but it's a very, very, woke, enlightened, spiritual man. My best example of that, because that's the guy I used to be. There's a wonderful movie with Brendan Fraser, and I think can't remember, sorry. But there's a great movie with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. That's what it is. It's a remake. But there's Elizabeth Hurley version, Brendan Fraser, I'm thinking of, called Bedazzled. And he says to her, "I want to be the most sensitive guy in the world." And he's there with her crying at sunsets and doing pictures for her and flower arranging. And she goes off with the biker. Now, that's the point I'm about to make here. And this isn't about getting women. This is about manhood. And this whole uber sensitive male energy icon bullshit that we've been fed over the last however many centuries is fucking ruinous, because it ain't us, and more importantly, isn't what is needed or wanted, particularly by women. And that's why men end up in fucking courses trying to learn tricks and tips as to how to get women, because they've been socialized so badly that their end result is, something that women really have no attraction to. And that's why you end up in the friend zone. You spend your life in the friend zone because you've become her friend, because you're another bitch. Excuse my language, but just put it that way to get it clear. Because, you're like, me and my bitches, and they will, my girls, my bitches, and you one of them. Now, I love to be, one of my homegirls' bitches, right? Because that's great. You know what I mean? That tells me that you are included as a friend on the highest level in the friendship echelon. But it's only great if you want to be a friend. If you're trying to be like a boyfriend or a husband or a lover, or you're just trying to smash, then you don't want to be one of her bitches. Do you know what I mean? Because when I'm down with my homegirls, they tell me about the guys they smashed. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. That's what being in the in-group is. You get that information. You sit down and you laugh about it, just like you do with your homeboys. You tell your boys, yeah, man, that girl, whatever you do it. You know what I mean? Everyone's different. Some guys are very discreet and don't kiss and tell. But you know what I mean? That's what you do. So now if you're down, we got your homegirls. I got my homegirls I love dearly, but that's because they're my homegirls. But if I was going to try and teach, young men, to how to get into relationships, then I wouldn't teach them how to become a homegirl, because no one was going to do that. The best your best shot would be a drunken fumble at a party that everyone regrets. Do you know what I mean? Because you ain't that guy they're interested in. But I'm kind of going off a bit off topic. In fact, I think I've gone a lot off topic. So the point I really wanted to get to today, that's why I'm trying to read this goddamn my goddamn phone, is at the end of the day, the end result I'm finding now of a lot of this stuff that came out of the pickup community, which is just tricks and tips to get girls into bed, women into bed, is people are saying, look, yeah, these tricks and tips work, but basically you're just playing the game of fake it until you make it. You actually have to work on making it. So you actually have to work on being this guy that you're tricking her to believe in you are. If you trick her to think that you're super interesting, well, why don't you just be fucking interesting? And if you're tricking her to think that you're a, defender of, family and friends and loved ones so she can be safe and secure with you, then why don't you just become a defender of family, friends and loved ones so she can be so super safe and secure with you? And the whole point of that is that, the real point I'm making is that this shift in the style of information coming out is super important. Because not only does it take it from being something that could be considered kind of distasteful and manipulative and exploitative, it brings it into something which is so important and needed, which is male guidance from men to men on how to be men. Because I can't speak for anybody else. I can't speak for me. I've had a very, 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 can I say very one more time, unhealthy relationship with my father. So I didn't get my guidance from there. I didn't get my know-how to be a man from my father. In fact, the complete opposite. So I realized that that's how it was very easy for me to fall into the super sensitivity that was being promoted by the media. Because I didn't want to be the uber male macho controlling. But no one was there to give me a balance. In fact, it's taken me 30 years to start to understand the need for the balance and to actually stop fooling myself into trying to be something that I was never really designed or born to be. Do you know what I mean? So I'm having one of those. This is going to be one of those where actually I know that I'm not hitting the point the way I want to. So I'm more likely probably going to have to return to it. But I just wanted to come to that, make a quick mention of this, that there is now a movement that's coming out of the pickup community, which is really just telling people stop faking it till you make it. Just be that. Be that protector. Be that interesting guy. Be that guy who does the things to give you self-confidence. And the thing that gives you self-confidence, which is what I was going to title this, is to be on your purpose. Be on your purpose. Be about something. Be about something. Be about something more than trying to smash that chick, or more than trying to supplement, supplicate to your wife. You got to be about more than that. Because as they were saying, it's true. It's a bit like me catching that guy mirroring. Based on human nature, I caught him, but I probably get mirrored every fucking day and don't notice it. We have a nature. And believe me, your wife is going to be bored as fuck with you if your whole journey, if your whole purpose in life is to please her. The only thing you're going to end up doing is not pleasing her. So you have to be on your own purpose. You have to be on your own purpose. You have to build your own confidence. Your confidence comes from being on your purpose and having your focus and achieving stuff and knowing that you're getting stuff done and your life is moving and improving in the right way. And then when that starts happening, you'll start attracting people to you. And, I learned this from, the funny things. As I said, I got introduced to the pickup community for business. And what's the most powerful thing about, it's not like that information now became irrelevant to me because I wasn't using it for business anymore. Actually, the more people started talking about being on your purpose and getting your confidence from actually doing it rather than pretending, is the more I started to realize that you grow in attractiveness and people gravitate to you. So the people who didn't want to work with you before or didn't want to invest with you before, they do now. Because you're on purpose, they're your focus, you know what you're doing. And if the people don't want to be part of that, you just say, yeah, wave that bye-bye. And keep on moving. And when people see that someone's serious like that, they ain't playing and they're not easily distracted or they're not easily diverted and they're not blown with the wind. They know what they believe and they're going to go do that. They gravitate to you. So I suppose what I'm really saying is that the whole tricks and tips pickup industry. Not all of it, like I said, a lot of it's still tricks and tips, and it still exists, and I really have no problem with it. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I have none. Because like I said, man, women have been playing tricks and tips on men. If I had £1 for every time I got shit tested, tricked, bamboozled, bullshitted by women who were taught by other women how to do that, then, you know what I mean, I'd be a multimillionaire. So, I don't have a problem with the tricks and tips pickup community, but I'm really, really pleased to see the way it's gravitating into being a resource to teach men really about manhood, about what it is to be a man and how you should be a man, what is expected of you as a man, and have the fact that once you become these things rather than just playing and pretending, you actually start to get the things you wanted, which is the attention from women, the attention from your boss, or the attention from your investors, and the respect and the love from your community. You know what I mean? And this isn't a predatory thing. When I say predatory, that's the wrong word. This isn't a one-man upman thing. This is the funny thing about it. You see a pride of lions. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, there's one alpha, but every male lion is on his focus. Do you know what I mean? They all know that that they're on point. You know what I mean? So the whole thing about that is, and the reason for that is, for example, let's take this down to men. We might be about a group of men, and one of them is the baddest basketball player. So on the court, this guy slays everybody. It doesn't mean that I have to feel insignificant because when he steps into the music studio, he's going to get slayed. Because my purpose is music and his purpose is sport. So we don't have to be competitive and think that just because this guy's an alpha in one arena, it knocks me out the box. That's the whole point about being on your focus and understanding what your truly God-given gifts are, focusing on that shit and knocking out all the other distractions, because that's the thing that you are going to make your living. That's your passion. That's what you love, and that's what you're going to eat from, and that's what you're going to contribute and improve the world with. Be on your purpose. And when you're on that, all the attraction that you want, like I said, whether it's from women or from business partners or approval of your boss or whoever or social media, just stay on that purpose consistently and you're going to see it coming. So it's another one of those that, I ain't really comfortable that I hit the point exactly the way I wanted to hit it, but I'm still glad I got up here and did it. I think I'm probably going to add, on men to, the Grand Go to Papa Lifestyle podcast. It's very dangerous because, I've been married something like 21 years now, so I probably shouldn't be talking about dating and shit. Because what the fuck you know about that, old man? You ain't been on a date since 1985. You know what I mean? But I do know about manhood. I do know that I don't start trouble, but you come anywhere near anyone I love, and I will kick your fucking ass. I do know about being a protector and provider. I do know about being on my purpose, being on my focus, focusing and achieving. And I also know from the saddest of multiple experiences of trying to be that uber sensitive guy, putting myself in the friend zone every single time I was single and wanted to be in a relationship, how not to fucking do that shit. So the only difference is back then I didn't know what I was doing and why, because I'll say real quickly, I should be stuck winding up. I'll say real quickly, the funny thing about the whole like that mirroring technique thing I said about the things that are deep rooted in our reptile brain is that it's like being a drug addict. It doesn't matter what you say you want. What you say you want, you honestly absolutely fucking mean it, but it's irrelevant when presented with what you want. So let's say you got a drug addict, right? Simple example, but go with me. And they say they want to get off the drugs, and they really want to get off the drugs, and they know they fucking know they want to get off the drugs, and they need to get off the drugs. And that's cool. Until they go around the corner and someone says, yo, bro, come over here, look what I got. And unwrap some foil, man, whatever their drug of choice is. Alcoholic, whatever. Do you know what I mean? That part of the brain that's rooted in that addiction is not going to overcome the conscious part of the brain. That's why the subconscious or whatever is rooted in the addiction is not going to overcome the conscious part of the brain that knows better and knows you should leave it alone. 90% of the time it won't do it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So at the end of the day, that's exactly the same thing in relationships. You know, for all the times I was told, you know, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. And we'd all be like, now, why the fuck are these women always going out with these fucking jerks and thugs? When, you know, when I sit down and talk to them, they tell me that they want this kind of guy and this kind of guy, this kind of guy. Even forget myself. And I see this guy walk through the door. I see this guy as a friend walk through the door. And, you know, he's right there. Here I am. You know what I mean? And bored of him within 2 weeks, and bam, right back with the thugs, because deep rooted in their brain, they're looking for something which is represented by what I'm going to term as manhood. You know, I don't even have to go into the alpha male thing, because that has lots of other connotations. No, they're just looking for manhood because they want to be women. And this ain't about, you know, equality and work share and pay comparisons, and ain't none of that. Do you know what I mean? A woman who earns 10 times more than you still wants you to be a man. Do you know what I mean? Your income is fucking nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? You can play it like that. That's why Bernie Eccleston can get like models, because his income is what he's using to promote his virility as a man. But he could get played right out of the box by a guy who's fucking driving a bus if that guy is in his manhood, not in his feelings. Do you know what I mean? So that's really what I'm saying. Honestly, I'm gonna wind up now, because like I said, I ain't really hit this to where I really wanted to, but I'm still glad I made the point. And as I said, there may well be a on manhood coming to join, you know, some of the other sections, like, you know, the better you, business brain, opinion hated. You know, there may well be an on manhood, because I'm a man and I want to talk about, you know, being male, and I want to talk to other men about manhood, so we can firstly repair ourselves from the pretty fucking terrible job I think a lot of our absentee and or present parents, male parents, did of trying to raise us as men, because they didn't raise us as men because they had no fucking idea. They really had no fucking idea on how to be men. So they didn't raise us as men. And then, you know, society jumped in, and even worse. Now, and I wanted to make that point, because a lot of people say, yeah, you know, a lot of men don't know how to be men because they were raised by women. Well, I was raised by a man, and I fucking didn't learn anything from him either. You know what I'm saying? So I can assure you that, you know, the man I became, you know, was self-made. That's that Jay-Z lyric, you know. Big said, nobody built like you. You designed yourself. And that's me, man. I designed myself. I took a look at all the examples around me, and I said, nope, I ain't going to be none of them. So I designed myself, you know, and I ain't mad at what I designed. I just am wise enough to look back and see the flaws. Because anything you build from scratch all by yourself is probably going to be flawed, because the best things in life are always built by teams and always built by knowledge. It's back to that whole concept of, you know, if I see very far, it's because I stand on the shoulders of others, right? But I didn't really stand on the shoulders of many people, man. A couple of people in my community, like Peter Isaacs and, you know, elders, you know, who I had a lot of respect for because the way they were moving in the community. You know, those are the people who helped me design the man I was going to be. You know, and my brethren who I respected, but, you know, didn't come from a source where it should have come from, which is a source of a well-defined male human being, passing down the lessons and helping me overcome the obstacles as a young male human being to teach me how to become my own well-defined male human being. None of that. None of that. I'm sorry for anybody who's insulted. I'm just telling the motherfucking truth. You know, so I think there's a big, you know, this ain't about, like, you know, in London there's a huge problem now with, like, you know, young people in knife crime, and this ain't even about that, because I'm telling you, most of you guys complain about young people in knife crime, yeah, especially young men. You ain't men yourselves. You got nothing to fucking teach them. You know what I'm trying to say? You got nothing to teach them. So, like all things in life, you need to start working on you. You need to start redefining and understanding what manhood is to you, and how your manhood interacts with other men. Do you know what I mean? How you hold your own and maintain your alpha around other alphas, so you can all be men, but not be in competition or fighting. You know what I mean? You all hold your own with respect, and you walk into that room as a man, and no matter what happens, you walk out of that room the same way. And then you might have something to start speaking to the young people about when they have to make a decision between working in a minimum wage job or going out of the road trying to sell peas and get a quick money off drugs. Do you know what I mean? Because you got nothing to tell them. like Damien Dash, you ain't built shit, you don't own shit, you don't run shit. What the fuck are you going to tell some kid who's being presented that opportunity? What are you going to tell him? You don't know nothing. So you have to start working that shit out for yourself. Don't come with the moral shit, because like I told you already, these kids ain't stupid, man. They're sitting back easily looking at the 1%, milking all the money and telling you to keep working your ass off in your middle class, middle management job, while they pimp the fuck out of you and take more and more from you every single year in taxes. They're not falling for that. Even the people who we used to look up to and think were like the best of us are looking like fucking chumps, because you are. And a lot of you guys are going to retire with fuck all. You know what I'm trying to say? Unless you get your shit together. So you got nothing to teach these kids. But as a man, you need to start, getting your game up, as understanding yourself and improving yourself as a man. And once you start to do that, then maybe, you'll have something to say to them. That's not me dissing you. That's me dissing me. That's me understanding where I came from and knowing I tried my best, and knowing that for the rest of my life, I have to become a better man, redefine my manhood so I can be a better father to my son and my daughter, and a better husband to my wife. And with that, thank you all for listening. This is the GGP Lifestyle Podcast. I think this is the first on manhood. That's probably why it took so long. Get in contact, leave some comments. We love our haters, id gaff, dilly gaff. So, tell us what you think about what we're saying. And we'll see you back here for the next one. Take care. Id gaff, dilly gaff. Id gaff, dilly gaff. I'm illy with the dilly gaff. Illy with the dilly gaff. Nid gaff, nid gaff. Nid gaff, nid gaff. I'm illy with the dilly gaff. I don't give a fuck with the dilly gaff. We ain't got no time for you haters. I do not respect anybody sitting behind a keyboard trying to belittle anybody, making them feel bad about themselves.